Last time on Overunder.
I play a character named John Walker.
I am playing Edward Rian.
I am playing Dr. Marcus Morningstar.
I am playing Cleric.
My character is Father Thomas Elias King.
Welcome back to Overunder.
Oh my god.
Our cowboy
That is messing
campaign,
with
yeehaw. This is episode 2 for you guys on YouTube. But
cowards.
Twitch, this is just resuming. So if you guys are interested in checking us out on Twitch, the link is down in the description below if you're on YouTube. And then you guys that are here on Twitch are obviously here. And we're here every Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific to 11 p.m. Eastern. We are going to resume, and we're going to pick up with the 6th player that did not introduce themselves last time because they were busy climbing out of a mud pit, apparently?
No, just the pit.
Or the pit.
The pit.
The pit. I thought it was the hole.
He was
It was
messing
a
around
hole,
in the
a
pit.
hole. It's a pit in my soul. It makes me want to go dig another hole and die in it.
Welcome back to the table,
Very morbid,
Ranger.
thank
It
you.
is nice to have you back. Tell us a little bit about your character. It is up to you how much you disclose about your character to the chat and to the other players.
Well, Joseph Memrick Clanton was born in Savannah, Georgia, and he had an undisclosed and pretty unmentionable part to play in the Civil War. And when that concluded with the March upon the Sea by dear old Sheridan,
That general that marched on the sea.
that guy.
Yeah,
Sherman's
that guy.
March.
Well, yeah.
He decided that, hey, my house doesn't exist anymore. I think I'm going to work on the railways. And he's been there ever since. Until, of course, he got a rather curious letter in the mail for a debt once accrued at the end of the war.
Understandable. Okay, so, you, sir, came to Overunder as near as you could by way of railroad and then proceeded to begin walking. You are nearing Overunder. You'll probably get there by sundown, if not a little bit past, given your current speed. But you soon hear the rattling of a cart coming up behind. Oh no! You soon hear the rattling of a cart coming up behind you. This is way worse than Leo.
Oh, no.
Okay. Marcus knows. Okay. So Joseph, there's a cart rattling up
It's way
behind.
worse than me.
Okay. Joseph, a cart is rattling up the road behind you. It is a non-covered cart, and they're a little distance away, but you can clearly make out 2 figures sitting on the kind of the front board of the wagon. One of them is holding the reins to the singular horse pulling the cart, and the other one is just riding shotgun. They slowly approach you, and I want you to go ahead and roll wisdom.
Roll wisdom. Oh,
Wisdom
interesting.
as a perception check.
All right, got my sheet out, my modifier. All right.
No plot twist, I can't actually just
That'll be a
speed
12.
up when we see.
So a 12. All right, so 12 is a mixed success. We'll say you notice that the first one, the one holding the reins, appears to be in their mid-40s, mid to late 40s. They look spry for their age, though. And the other one has no face. Seems
What?
to be built in a rather. They are rather wiry. They are built rather wiry. They have a wiry build. There we go. That's how to English. They have a wiry
Yes.
build. But you see that they are wearing what appears to be a sheet of metal in front of their face. Hence the, at first glance, appearance of having no face at all.
Not a mask. A sheet of metal?
For all
Yeah.
you know, with that perception check, he's got a sheet of metal for a face.
What? Who is driving?
That would be, you do not know him, but that is Marcus.
Not the blind man, that's for sure.
Right? Like, is it the man with the sheet of metal face?
No.
All
No,
right.
it's the other guy.
Joseph is gonna sort of look back towards Overunder, do a comedic double take, and narrowing his eyes and slowing down. What in Sam hell is that supposed to be?
The wagon starts to rattle past you. Marcus, you've already got one passenger. But this man appears to have been walking for quite the distance. Will you do the same thing you did with Cleric and kind of slow down to kind of
Yeah.
see if he can hop on? Okay.
He's just gonna slow down.
Okay. Are you gonna give him any indication to hop on, or are you just gonna let him figure it out?
He's just gonna take his cane and with it tap the carriage behind him. Basically like, come on.
Hello there?
I see you're heading to town. I figured it would be kind to offer you a ride.
Well, let me be frank with you, sir. I've been walking quite a ways. If this were not the case, I may be of a mind to turn you down, just 'cause this is unfamiliar country. But my legs are so tired, I think I'll agree. With that, he's gonna climb on in. He appears to be wearing overalls that are hanging, that are strapped onto a white work shirt that is now dusty with sweat and just muck from all the walking.
So a workman's white shirt.
Yes.
AKA
Indeed.
now brown.
Now beige. He appears to have some sort of leather gloves on and has a wide brim hat, almost like a sombrero, on his head.
Ay caramba. Okay. I have a question. Are you going to hop over the side, or are you gonna walk around the back of the wagon and climb in that way?
Orderly.
I'll walk around the back. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing young theatrics right now.
Okay, I need you to roll plus wisdom again.
Oh? 12.
12.
Again. Same roll.
Okay. We're going to say that you noticed too little too late here. Okay, so you climb in the back of the wagon. There's some stuff in the back. There's obviously, it looks like a little bit of gear from the figure clad in black with no face was probably thrown in the back, and then a little bit of a few belongings of the driver. But you sit there in the back, your legs kind of dangling, and you look over and you look at the stuff in the back, and then you near jump out and fall out of the wagon because you realize that it's all sitting on top of a coffin, and you've got your back to another coffin.
No, wait a minute. What's a hearse doing out here? Who picks up people in a hearse? What is this?
You can't pick up chicks in a hearse.
That's it. Log off. You showed the host the hearse.
And you notice what Cleric did not when
Leo
he first
failed to realize.
Yes, you realized what Leo did not, and it is that he is hitching a ride in a hearse. So
Of course, that might just be hearse say.
I'm gonna have to deal
Hearsay.
with a whole freaking season of this. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
looking
Are you ready
forward
to
to it.
his puns and my stupidity?
His puns.
You will
your
suffer
what do you
beyond
mean
all
your
imagining.
stupidity? You promised me that you were playing a semi-sentient character.
It's tech.
This
It's
is also
me.
true.
Oh,
I can this time, instead of going about stupid ideas the forced way, we're going to go about them the smart way and make them effective. Instead of hope and pray for good luck.
Great goes.
Exactly.
All right. So do you stay on the wagon or do you like hop off?
Is there anywhere for me to sit that is not a coffin?
No, you are not sitting in a coffin. It is like there was stuff in.
No, like on a coffin. Like,
no, you are not sitting on a
presumably I'm on
coffin,
top
but
of a
you are
coffin.
you are surrounded by coffin. So like there's a little bit of space to sit on the edge of the cart. You're like your feet are kind of dangling off the back of the cart, and your back is up against the
Gotcha.
coffin.
So long as I'm not required to sit on top of it, I think I'll be okay. A wagon is a wagon. Say, sir, who are these people?
Those. No, they're empty for now. I've been
Oh.
asked to come to this quaint town for business.
And that feller next to you?
Same as you. Hitchhiker that found some traveler that needed a lift.
Huh. Well, what a happy coincidence. And where do you happen to be from, Mr.
Morning Star.
Mr. Morningstar? I'm Joseph Memmer-Clanton. Pleasure.
Pleasure. I came from over the sea myself.
Over the sea?
Hmm.
Where exactly might that be? Over the sea's a big place.
When I was given my letter, I just finished up business on the edge of Germany.
Germany, eh? I think I sailed past that place one of those times, but poof, I never actually kept track of what landmass that was. Did you
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
say letter?
Letter.
Yeah, some sort of letter asking you to come out all the way here.
Yes, I did. You sound like you received one yourself.
Well, I'm just curious what sort of letter could make a man cross the entire Atlantic Ocean in due haste so he could go to the back end of absolutely nowhere, USA.
Obviously, it's a very important letter.
And also, now that I'm closer, does he still just have a sheet of metal for a face?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't dumb and not seeing it right.
Nope. You're
And
seeing it
who
right.
is the feller next to you? That is,
Yeah,
who is he?
Marcus
You
is just
explained.
gonna look over. It's like, are you gonna introduce yourself or?
Call me Glittic.
Sorry, what was that?
Call me Glittic.
Bulimic? What?
Glittic.
Killick?
You
I
need
thought I
me to
heard of
spell it
something like.
out for you.
Well, I do happen to be literate, but no, it's just can't seem to get past that there accent of yours. My sorry, friend.
It is
I believe he's trying to say cleric.
Cleric?
correct.
What in the world is a cleric?
Long story.
Ah, well, all right then. And the apparatus up front, is that for medical purposes?
personal.
He's going to look out into the desert once more, or surrounding region. Geography?
Yes.
He'll just sort of nod his head. Right, personal reasons. Of course. Nah, enjoy the walk here? I know I sure didn't. This ground is rockier than the clay fields of Georgia, I tell you.
Never been.
Well, if you like red mud, you should go there. Otherwise, not missing too much anymore.
Noted. I shall remember this.
Of course, partner. He's going to be thinking to himself, I hope you don't remember me, because I don't want to die.
Okay, let's page over to Thomas and Edward, who have both ridden into town at this point. Let's see. John is still out kind of exploring town when you guys get there. So, Edward and Thomas, are you guys, I'll break it down and kind of see what your priorities are, but up front, are you guys going to stick together, do you think, or are you going to go your separate ways?
Well, that depends where I see Thomas going off to.
Okay. Father Kane. You arrive into town via the southernmost entrance, passing the church on your way in. What do you do, sir?
It's a good question. Is there like a general store?
Yes, there is. There is a general store you can go to. It's towards the it's towards the top of town. So, actually,
Alright, that's cool. I think I'm gonna go to the blacksmith.
fuck you. Okay. He's like, oh, cool. I hear Sigma laughing about this thing. I will not go to this thing. Okay.
No, I was actually planning to go to the blacksmith. I was just curious.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so you head up Main Street, and as you head up Main Street, you hear the sound of metal beating against metal, from a little ways off. And as you hit the corner of Main and Winchester, you look down and you see the open air smithy portion of the blacksmith. And so you round the corner and you head on down that way. And before we take care of that, Edward, are you going to follow him down there and just kind of mosey on along, or are you going to go somewhere else?
Where did I see him heading?
You saw him heading towards the blacksmith.
I'm gonna split off on my own then. I wanna try and find the person who sent the letter.
Okay, then you need to pick a place to start. And while you do that, I will work with Tom for a second. So, you approach the blacksmith, Thomas, and as you ride up to it, let's see, let me pull up the character for him. Hellfire. Okay. A very tan man, somebody who's been working out in the sun for a long, long time, with dark black hair and kind of a muscle man mustache, kind of like he looks like he's straight out of the circus, except with a super tan. But he looks up at you and he wipes his brow and kind of wipes his hands off on his apron, and he looks up at you and he says, well, howdy. What can I do you for?
I'm wondering, do you got any lead and any tools for bullet making?
He kind of looks around to see if anybody's nearby, and he says, that depends. Who's asking?
I'm asking.
See. Well, as it so happens, I do have the tools on hand to make bullets, and we are... The price of lead right now is kinda high. Not sure you would want to pay as many dimes as you'd need to. The miners still haven't come back from the hills yet, but lead right now is kinda in short supply. So, we do have lead. It'll cost you a little extra, but we do have lead, and we do have the tools to make bullets. On the other hand, if you're not into maybe spending the time and you're still interested in maybe getting something for a little bit cheaper, because I may say so, sir, it might be a little cheaper to go just buy the bullets instead of, making them yourself. I can direct you to a few stores here in town who'd be able to set you up quite nicely.
Alright. What do you got in terms of knives?
He grins and he says, "You're asking a lot of questions as if I'm the one who sells these particular implements. And while I do have some in stock that are very basic, if you want a more finessed weapon, there are other establishments in this fine community that might be able to suit you a little bit better. But in the terms of implements of, cutting and such, I can custom make. That's more my business here than keeping them in stock. But I do have a simple, kind of just run-of-the-mill standard tool knives, stuff you use for, I don't know, shaving wood and general like farm labor. Nothing finessey, if you know what I mean.
Alright. Before I go, would you be able to make custom orders for berries that may or may not be entirely?
Sir, I don't know what you're implying, but I make all manner of knives. He winks at you.
Okay. Alright. Well, thank you very much for your time. I was wondering, can you make some horseshoes? I've been traveling a long
Absolutely.
way, and my horse is a little in need of some maintenance.
He
That's
nods and he says, "I'll get right to work on those. If you want to leave your horse here, I can reshoe him for you. He should be ready here in about..." He thinks for a moment and says, "Give or take maybe a couple hours. Shouldn't take more than 2.
That's fine.
Alrighty then. Okay, so I assume you leave your horse with the blacksmith and then continue on into town?
Yes, sir.
Okie dokie. Edward, before we bounce over to John
Yes.
to see what he's been up to, where did you decide to start looking for the person who sent you the letter?
We're gonna start where the letter probably came from. That's is it mayor post?
No, so you see a few flyers hanging around town for the Mercury Post.
That's a C
That's
at
a C,
the end.
yes. The Mercury Post. And as you follow the leaflets, you actually pass Thomas, who's talking to the blacksmith, and you turn the corner on to County Street. And you see that the Mercury Post is not a post office. It's a newspaper. And so you open the door, remembering your training in manipulating solid objects, so that you open the door and not phase through the door. And you open the door and step inside, and you realize that like the printing press is sitting there, and then an old-fashioned printing press, and a couple people working there. One looks up and looks at you and smiles and says, "Oh, howdy. How you doing there today, sir? What can the Mercury Post do for you?
Edward takes this in and he thinks for a moment before saying, I'm looking for a guy, and I was wondering if you would know where to find him.
Uh, we run bullets for or bulletins on all kinds of folks. Missing persons flyers. We put them in the paper. Are you here to put in a ad for a missing person in the paper, or are you just here for information?
Just here for information.
All right, I see. Yeah, so what did you say this person's name was again?
His name is Xavier.
The other two people in the room, um, two young men, stop what they're doing and look over your shoulder, or look over their shoulder at you, and then look at each other, then go back to work. And the man sitting in front of you says, Xavier.
Mm.
That's the name that I can recollect hearing, but I don't think that we have any Xaviers residing in town currently. I know I've heard the name plenty of times. Heard it in San Francisco. Heard it up in Oregon once. I heard it down in Louisiana. I've been all over the place, and I've met many, many people, and a couple of them were named Xavier, but none that I know of reside here in this particular town. So, that little bit of information for you, sir, is free this time, but any further questions might cost you an ad in the paper, if you know what I mean.
Does Edward have any money on him? This is a question I forgot to ask. Don't have any money written down.
All of you guys were eligible to receive up to $15 before the game started. You started off with 0. That's your fault. No, if you had money before you came into town, then that's up to you. Just message me about it and we can sort it out later. So
I don't think he would have a lot anyways.
yeah. Okay, so let's jump back to John because we haven't talked about him in a while. So John, you now have an idea of the layout of town. You could find your way out and find your way back in. You could navigate the streets. You don't have all of the names of the streets down pat, but you have general ideas for where different things are. So, after your 3-hour search, we're going to say that you kind of end up at the corner of Winchester and Main. So you're kind of at that big main intersection there. You're looking, standing at the corner of the tap house, kind of looking out on Main Street, Winchester, and Henry Street, and kind of thinking about what to do next. So what will you do next? I will say that you see the blacksmith shoeing a horse down the street. What will you do, John?
My D&D player instincts are telling me that you want me to go to the blacksmith.
Your D&D player
But-
instincts are false because we're not in D&D. We're in a homebrew system, homie. So ignore those instincts.
Okay.
Even though that's going to bite you in the
Okay.
butt later. No, okay.
But I am... I want to continue looking for Xavier, honestly, but
Okay, pick a place.
do I know if Xavier has a horse?
Yes. I mean, the last time you saw him, he rode out of town on a horse, but that was a while ago. A long while ago.
Right. I guess I'll go back to the Riverbend stable for now and go to both check on my horse and to see if the stable owner is aware of Xavier being in town.
Okay. You walk into the Riverbend stable and you see your horse and start tending to it. And the owner is somebody that you didn't quite get a good look at the last time you talked to him because it was dark out. It had just sun had just gone down and the town was being lit by lamplight. But it's a young man steps forward and trying to find the NPC out of all the NPCs that I have. Stable. Come on, Riverbend. Okay, cool. It's a young man with dark brown hair and kind of a red complexion. And it looks like he might be of a little bit of maybe Native American descent, but you can't quite tell. There's a lot of sunburn on the young man. But he walks up and says, well, howdy, mister. It's good to see you back, taking care of your horse. I always do appreciate somebody who can take care of their animal. Or some people that don't quite do that or quite know how to, and so it falls to me. And if you don't mind me saying, sir, I do appreciate a man that can take care of his animal. Did I say that already?
I think you did, son.
Oh shucks, mister. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I didn't really sleep last night. I don't really have a place to lay my head except for here in the stable, and it's just a little bit of a. It's always a rough night. You know what I'm saying? So I always am overcome with joy, and it fills my heart with happiness and satisfaction to see a man who can take care of his friend that takes him everywhere, and take care of his animal. Oh shucks, I already said that.
That's all right, son.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Anyways,
suppose you happen to know of any man named Xavier in town, do you?
Xavier,
Xavier.
you see
Last I
him.
saw him, he had a big old broadsword on his back.
Let's take a look at him. He yeah. He kind of shifts from one foot to another and looks up and closes his eyes and looks like he's thinking really hard, and he says, Xavier, big broadsword. Huh. It seems like I did see him, but I can't recollect when. I don't think it was recently. Not within the past month or so, anyways. Maybe it was. I want to say it was right around Christmas. He was here. Yeah. Just a little bit after Christmas, he was here, but it seems like he left, and he was like I briefly saw him, and the broadsword's the thing that you said. That's what made me think about it, but it seems like he was here one minute and then gone the next. I don't rightly know what happened. So, I don't know if his name was Xavier, and there are a couple people walking around town that you'll see at some point if you stick around long enough. There are plenty of people that walk around with broadswords strapped to their backs. Enough for a country boy like me, to know what a broadsword is. But they walking around here. Anyways, I hope that answers your question, mister. Now, I am terribly sorry to put this on you, but if you're picking up your horse, you do need to pay. If you intend on staying a little bit longer, then we here at this stable do allow you to pay ahead of time, so that way you can rent for the week, and then we give you your money back if you don't stay the whole time. But you do need to, help us keep this place up and running. The place could use a new coat of paint.
I understand. How much is the week?
The week is a nickel.
All right, here you go.
All right, he takes
And I hand him a nickel.
He takes a nickel, and make sure you mark that out of your character sheet. Okay.
Yep, just did.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and fast forward time. Father Kane, you come back to the stable. Actually, you come back and get your horse from the blacksmith. About 2 hours later, what did you spend those 2 hours doing?
Going to the general store and trying to find a place to sleep.
Okay. You walk up County Street and then take a left onto Musket, and you see a sign that says the General's Store. And you walk up to the store, you look up at the sign, and you look down at the doors, and you walk through the swing-in doors of the General Store. And you are greeted with a sight of many things. This is a general store. It looks like it's got a little bit of everything from canned goods to farming supplies to candy to a few firearm implements such as tools to clean a firearm, some bullets, but it's mainly just food, candy, and goods, with a couple of tools and stuff mixed in. And behind the counter, dang it, where is it? I gotta alphabetize these things. Okay. Behind the counter sits this elderly, wiry man, that has long silver hair and a bushy silver beard, and he's wearing the thing that catches your eye first and foremost is that he's wearing the uniform and lapel and shoulders of a Union general. And he looks up at you and he says, "Well, howdy, Sonny. I haven't seen you before. Reminds me of the time that I saw that other stranger walk in. Wasn't about 5 minutes ago. Come to think of it, I seen that stranger here before. I wonder if it was that stable boy. No, surely not. Whatever. It's good to see a new face. What can I do you for, Sonny?"
My character is just gonna stare at him for a couple of seconds before he answers. I'd like to do you have any gunpowder?
Gunpowder? Why, sure we do. It's not in great supply right now, but we do indeed have gunpowder. And he looks over at a small section of wall that has some shelving in it. There appears to be a nice, neat rows of like paper packets of gunpowder, like they would use in muskets. And hanging above that, in kind of a decorative fashion, is a powder horn. And he says, that powder horn has been with me since I was a wee lad shooting coons. Hey folks, just wanted to make a quick clarification that when General Benjamin Dollar here says coons, he is in fact talking about raccoons, the animals, not people. So Just wanted to make that clarification because I know that was slang for that period in history, unfortunately. But I wanted to make the clarification that he is in fact talking about shooting and hunting raccoons, the trash pandas, and not actual people. Thanks. Out in, where am I from again? It don't matter. It's been with me for near on 70 years. And you are free to do whatever. Like, you do not have to stand and listen to this guy talk, because it becomes clear very, very quickly that he will talk regardless of whether or not you are listening. So I'm going to say that you can perform your action and just at any point in time for right now assume he is rambling on about his coon hunting days.
Okay, now hold on. Like, honestly, just my brain just exploded. Oh yeah. Got any rounds to go with this powder?
He says, "Why, sure I do rounds. You looking for copper? You looking for lead? We got both." And he he gets out of the chair that he was sitting in, and he walks over to a space in the wall near the nearby to the powder display, and he opens a small chest that was locked, and he rustles around and he says, "Again, we've got it looks like we got a couple boxes of lead. It looks like we got a box or two of copper. What suits your fancy?"
How much is it each?
That'll be 50 cents for a box of lead and 60 for a box of copper.
How much for the powder?
Oh, I reckon since it's he scratches his beard and he says, "Hold on, let me look at my book." And he hobbles back to his desk and he looks under the desk and he pops his head back up and says, "All right, so according to my ledger, it says that powder is it says it is 1 cent for every packet. So yeah, no, wait, that's not right. That's packets of sugar." And he looks back. You hear pages rustling. He says, "Packets, cartridges. Yeah, cartridge. That reminds me of my raccoon hunting days. Cartridges." And he pops back up and he says, "Okay, so a set of cartridges is gonna be 25 cents.
How much in a set?
10 for
we get a
like
box of
OOC.
lead
Okay, just outside of character."
and 2 sets of powder.
Okay. Outside of character, the powder, just make sure you know that the powder is like, it's a paper packet of powder that would go inside like a musket. And
Yeah,
like, I think I know what you're using it for. And for anybody who's like, that doesn't seem like the price it would be back in the Wild West, you can use that packet to form multiple bullets. There's enough gunpowder for multiple shells. So, yeah. Okay, so go ahead and add 1 box of lead bullets. It's important that you note that it's lead, to your backpack. And then 2 sets of gunpowder cartridges. And then if that's 25, and 50, go ahead and remove $1 from your total amount.
Can I also talk to the guy for a little bit?
Yeah. You want to keep talking to him?
I mean,
Sure,
I'm
why
curious
not?
about a couple of things. First off, I'm a point to his hat and say some type of general or something.
Why, yeah, that's the whole thing. I served in the war. As a matter of fact, mighty proudly. The name's Dollar, Benjamin Dollar, and I was a general for the glorious union of this United States of America.
Y'all got any jerky or anything?
He nods. Jerky, absolutely. We got all kinds of jerky. The most popular kind today is coon jerky. Speaking of which, did I tell you about the time? Continues rambling as he walks around the counter and goes to the jar of coon jerky and then brings it back to the counter. And that's the story about how I shot my first coon. He sets the jar down on the counter and says, "How much would you like?"
Let me get enough for a couple days.
He nods and he pulls out enough for a couple of days, and he pulls out some paper, wraps the jerky in a paper, ties it up with a string, and he slides it across the counter, and he says, "All right, for a couple of days, that'll be 30 cents."
All right.
And you can write down 6 days of jerky. Or jerky, and then in parentheses, 6 days worth or whatever in your inventory, because there's enough for you to have jerky for 6 days.
Sure, I'll take 60 days with the jerky. That's fucking.
No,
great.
6, not 60. 6, not
I said
60.
6.
Okay, just wanted to make sure there was no miscommunication.
Yeah, I'm just carrying around a fucking mountain of jerky.
There's enough for you to ration it out, not stuff yourself on jerky. Like you're not walking around with a backpack full of like Jack Link's jerky.
1,000 years jerky heaven.
Slim Jims out the wazoo. Here, would you like a Slim Jim?
I don't know if I would count Slim Jims as jerky, but all right. And I guess that's it for now.
All right. And as you walk out of the store, he's like, "Thanks for coming in, stranger, and remember to tell your friends about Benjamin Dollars. Dang it. What did I decide to call this place?" And he looks at the ledger again. He says, "Thanks for calling to coming to the General's Dollar, or as I like to call it, thanks for coming to Dollar General."
You're very funny, Sigma.
No, I'm not. Shut up. Cleric and
I hate
Marcus.
myself a little more now.
Cleric and Marcus and Joseph, you guys all enter town via the via the northern entrance. You cross a ford in the river, and then proceed to enter right next to the general's general, or Dollar's general, or whatever you want. You come on down Main Street. Joseph and Cleric, it is totally up to you whether or not you bail out. It is now mid-afternoon, getting closer to the evening time. People are kind of milling about now that most people have gotten out of work / shifts have changed. So people are kind of walking around. Are you guys gonna bail out or stick with Marcus?
I'm gonna step down with the tip of my hat and walk off.
Okay.
Joseph is going to look over. "Well, Mr. Marcus, it seems to be getting late, and I think I'm fixing up to get myself a drink. Would you care to join me, or do you have somewhere you need to park this thing?"
Well, that is a very kind offer, my friend. I believe I should tend to my horse first.
All right, well, I'm going to look at, let's see on the map, where is General store?
Very top.
Gotcha. 64 pounds of jerky.
64.5 pounds of
Based
jerky.
on where I am,
Hold on.
where is the
64 and a
closest?
half pounds. What? Hold on.
For 60 days.
Oh, okay.
Where is
60
the
days.
60 days worth.
closest bar from
Yes.
where I'm sitting right now?
The closest bar to where you are right now is in the Ace of Spades Hotel. You see multiple, some swinging figures. And by swinging, I mean swinging in their walk, coming out of the Ace of Spades, and several very tired-looking people heading into the Ace of Spades. And then that's the only one you can see. Actually, you look farther down the street and you see what appears to be a sign for a tap house. So you can either head down Main Street to the tap house, the Overunder tap house, or you can go on down Musket Street and hit up the Ace of Spades Hotel, which also
Out of
offers-
curiosity,
Yeah, go ahead.
how does the hotel look according to my pocketbook?
Let me just take a quick looky-loo.
Like, as I, a country somewhat bumpkin, looking at this hotel, am I going, yeah, I could stay there for a little while, or am I going,
Let's see.
So much emotion in that one little
Could I go?
expression.
Yeah, so much emotion. That's what like any college person feels like if they're on their own dime. Can I really eat there? Should I really spend that money? Do I really need to spend that money on repairing my car?
I mean, if you move to a
shut
different
up.
state, no. Technically, no.
If my car breaks in the middle of some other state, that's still not good. You never wrote down how much money you have in your pocketbook.
$4. I
Joseph,
believe I
my
sent
good
you
sir.
in DMs.
Okay, yes. Okay, then, short term, yes. Long term, probably not a great idea.
In which case, I will look down to the tap house sign and say, well, I'm going to head over to that, wherever that sign seems to be advertising for. And if you'd care to join me, I believe I'll be staying there for the evening to get myself acquainted with the locality, if you understand what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
All
And,
right.
Mr. Morningstar is going to start riding his cart over to where, hopefully, a stable of some kind.
Riverbend or Pondside? Check the map.
Give me a moment.
You would have seen Riverbend coming into the
So
north side
I'm
of town.
so I'm basically at the top. So I'll go
You're
to
at the corner of Main and
Riverbend.
Musket. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll head to the Riverbend stable because that is closer,
Okie dokie.
and as such, it makes more sense to go there.
All right. As you ride down 45th Street, you turn that corner of Main and 45th, you notice somebody who appears to be dressed as a preacher standing on the corner, watching you. Not necessarily standing there staring at you, but like watching you suspiciously in passing. You think nothing of it and continue on down to Riverbend. John Walker, as you walk back into the main part of town, you pass a cart that appears to be a hearse. Cleric, we have heard very little of you in these past couple of episodes, so as we approach the end of the evening, what are you going to do?
Well, it's still light out, isn't it?
Correct.
Head to the library. I noticed that on the map on the far east side. I'm just gonna head to the library.
Okay. Now, out of character, do you know that there is a library in town? Because I provided this map to you guys, but you've never, unless you can provide an in-character reason, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you do not know the layout of town, with the exception of Mr. Walker, who has taken the time to, no pun intended, walk the premises.
Fair enough. I'll go to the sheriff's office then. Is there a bounty board? Because I assume we're going down Main Street. The sheriff's office is on Main Street and
Yep.
somewhat obvious. So,
Mm-hmm.
is there a bounty board?
You walk, after dismounting the cart, you go to the sheriff's office, and you step up onto the boardwalk, and you take a look at the bounty board that's hanging right outside. And there are a few faces you've seen around on other towns on your journey here, but there are a few unique faces. Okay, so you notice one particular. It looks it's interesting. He has a high bounty reward. It's $100 for just one man, and the man is young in the face. He actually seems kind of picnic in build, and the name on the wanted poster is Denver Dust. And in bigger print underneath his actual name, it has his next name. His nickname is Dusty.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna commit that one to memory if possible.
And then,
Oh no!
and then next to
No.
that poster is a poster of another person. This one worries you. This one is of a older man. Of course, it's all black on parchment, so you can't really get any like hair color or anything like that. But the name is in black and white, and so is the reward, to be turned in alive to a federal U.S. Marshal. Award the $250 will go to the man, woman, or child who can bring in alive the man known as Xavier Caliburn.